Shalom, everyone, and I hope you had a good Thanksgiving yesterday. Last night, as in millions of homes across America, people gathered not only in physical space, but also virtually over Zoom or gathered in garages or gathered in whichever way they could with family and friends, laughing or crying or maybe even both, and eating the food of the harvest. It's my hope that in all of these homes and across Zoom that people took moments to tell each other the things that they were thankful for this year. There truly is much for us to be thankful for. It's in moments like those when family and friends gather virtually or physically and take a moment to reflect on the presence of God in our lives and the gratitude we feel for the blessings that have been bestowed on us. We may not realize it at the time, but after the moment has passed, we can look back and see that God was in that moment, that we may not have known it. This spirit of reflection can also be felt in this week's Torah portion, Parsha Vayetze. We find Jacob fleeing from his brother on his way to his uncle Laban's. Jacob's dreams of a ladder that stretches up from earth to heaven, and there are angels of God ascending and descending the ladder. In fact, sitting in the chapel, you can see the stained glass window. You might not be able to see it now, but during the day, you can see the beautiful stained glass window of the angels ascending and descending. And God stands behind Jacob and says, I am God, the God of your father Abraham and the God of your father Isaac. And I will give to you and your seed the land where you are sleeping, and your seed will be as dust of the earth and spread in all directions. And through you will all the families of the earth be blessed. I am with you and will guard you. I will not leave you until I have accomplished what I promised. And Jacob awoke from his sleep, saying, Truly, God is in this place, and I did not know it. This is the house of the eternal. This is a gate of heaven. And the next morning, Jacob anointed a memorial stone with oil and named the place Bethel. There's a magic here in this parsha. And I believe that if we reflect upon our lives, we can indeed point to a time or times in which we have thought to ourselves, God is in this place and I did not know it. For Jacob had his experience after he left home, as he left the land of Israel and entered into another territory. It was in his journey that he experienced God. In our day-to-day lives, such experiences are easy to miss, and they're easy to dismiss. In his commentary entitled Five Cities of Refuge, co-authored with David Mamet and Lawrence Kushner, it's written, in Song of Songs, chapter 5, verse 2, we read, I was asleep, but my heart was awake. What is it about ordinary waking consciousness that seems to filter out experiences of the sacred? We intuit that something more must be out there, but in order to see it, we have to close our eyes. Our nights, on the other hand, are often cluttered with holy encounters, inspiring and terrifying, but they always seem to remain just beyond reach, inaccessible, their content either ephemeral or opaque. Jacob's dream is probably the most powerful and transformative personal encounter with the divine in the entire Torah. And equally noteworthy is the event that must be anchored in waking reality. Jacob does this by setting up a pile of rocks to mark the spot. And because even the memory of such an experience is so slippery, the one who received it must establish the place, mark the coordinates in ordinary space. And so Jacob set up a memorial to something that happened in the night and names it the dwelling place of God. I think we've all had such moments, moments that transcend the everyday tedium of life, moments that lift us up and propel us into a new consciousness. Congregation Shalom is one such place, a place where we gather together in joy and in sadness, a place we experience learning and enlightenment, and a place where our hearts are so often filled and lifted in the song by our wonderful cantor. However, the Jewish experience is not solely a synagogue experience. Perhaps we realize that now more than ever. Our lives are filled with sacred moments beyond the walls of this synagogue. They may be moments that are obvious, like the birth of a child or a grandchild. They may be deeply personal moments of accomplishment or of learning a hard lesson or of engaging in acts of tikkun olam, healing the world. Or they may be moments of simplicity, enjoying a good meal or waking in the morning or seeing an old friend on Zoom. As Jews, our task is to recognize, like Jacob, that God was in that place, though we may not have known it. And like Jacob establishing a pillar, our Jewish tradition offers us a means to recognize the special nature of these moments through offering a blessing. There's a blessing for everyone or everything. A particular favorite moment in the play of Fiddler on the Roof alludes to this when the rabbi of the village is asked if there's a blessing for the Tsar, and he responds that there is a blessing for everything. And he says, "May God bless and keep the Tsar far away from us." We have traditional blessings for all things. Waking in the morning, clothing ourselves, stepping out of our house, eating every type of food available, seeing a ruler of a nation, hearing good news and bad news, studying Torah, working to good ends, seeing the beauty of nature like a rainbow, and seeing the many forms that life occurs. All of these moments can be given ritual because, though we realize it or not, God is present in moments such as those. Though many may not know all the formulas or the Hebrew words to say a traditional blessing in those moments, perhaps we should, like Jacob, create a symbol to recognize what has been given to us by offering words of thanksgiving. It needn't be complex. It could simply be by saying, "Blessed are you, eternal our God, for giving me the eyes to see such beauty." Or, "Blessed are you, eternal our God, for revealing to me knowledge of which I previously was unaware." Or, "Blessed are you, eternal our God, for allowing me the privilege of once again seeing an old friend." This may seem simple, but being a truly grateful person is anything but simple. It takes an awareness or sensitivity to moments in which we have been given a very special gift. We have the obligation to give thanks, just as we gathered yesterday to do. Though some of us may choose to offer words silently in the recesses of our own hearts, and that's fully acceptable, perhaps by speaking them out loud, we can make them more tangible too. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment now and perhaps think of a blessing of which you are thankful for. You can speak it out loud at home or speak it in your own heart, but just say the words themselves to think of all of the blessings that come our way. Yesterday, sitting around the table, I looked at my children and my wife, and I thought to myself how thankful I am and how grateful I am to sit around the table with people that I love. And I thought about the Zoom calls and the phone calls and the texts and the Facebook posts and all of the ways that we are able to reach out to the people that we love who may be beyond arm's reach. And I felt grateful for them too. I also was thinking to myself of all those who influenced my life, who set me on my path, who made my life better, who've passed on to life eternal. And I was grateful for them too. And this was one of the moments that I feel in my life I experienced God. Indeed, God was in that place, and upon reflection, I knew it. So thank you, God, for allowing me to see a vision of the future in the eyes of the next generations. And thank you, God, for allowing me to walk this path knowing that there are still souls and people who are smiling down upon me with the same love and affection that they always have in life. We may commit ourselves to acts of communal good and bring children into the world to conduct acts of loving kindness, teach and learn Torah. We may look both to the darkness and the light, journey or stay at home. But our goal must always be to say, indeed, God was in this place, and I did not know it. Wish you all a Shabbat Shalom and a happy Thanksgiving.